Hello guys, it's Moon Journey here. I hope you're having a great day. Before we got into the video, please like, comment and subscribe because it does help the channel so much. Every bit of just a subscription, a like and a comment, it really helps for my channel to grow. So I hope you can support me with that. Thank you so much. Now let's delve into the video. The Suffering is a video game developed by Surreal Software and published by Midway Games, released in GameCube and Sega Dreamcast and cancelled in 2004 for the Xbox, PlayStation 2 and PC. The game features monster designs by Stan Winston. The player controls Turg, a man who has been sent to a post-state prison on Carnet Island, Maryland. Turg is the main character of the Suffering series. He was found guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder by a Baltimore County court on September the 2nd and sentenced to death by lethal injection at a Bot State prison to be carried out on December 15th. His last non-official location was the docks in Baltimore, where he was on a ferry coming from the island. After various sightings throughout Baltimore, his exact whereabouts and condition are currently unknown. Turk was born on March 12, 1974, in Baltimore to unknown parents and eventually placed and raised in Garvey's Children's Home and faced bullying from other children there. It was there that he met his future wife, Carmen. They eventually married and had 2 children together, Corey and Malcolm. Before the birth of Malcolm, Turk was allegedly set up for murder by the criminal gang lord Blackmore. He spent an unknown amount of time in Eastern Correctional, a Baltimore prison. It was during a visit there that Carmen informed him of her intentions of divorce. They apparently reconciled some time later as they were living as a family at the time of the deaths of Carmen and the children. The staff at Garvey's Children's Home were troubled because Turk made references to a tall man visiting him at home despite having no record of visitors. According to Blackmore, Turk might have worked in a gym. Turk has suffered from blackout. Turk has suffered from blackout his entire life. He alleges that some of the most heinous things he's been accused of he does not remember and blames said blackout. In summer 2004, Turk's wife and his 2 children were found dead at their home in Baltimore. Carmen was found in the master bedroom, bludgeoned to death. Malcolm was found drowned in the bathtub, and Corey had apparently fallen to death from the 2nd-story window of his bedroom. While police responded to scene, Turk was found unconscious in the main hallway of the house, though he claims to have no knowledge of the events or how his family died. However, with no other suspect, the fact that Turk was at the scene and covered in his wife's blood, and through questionable practices on the part of the prosecutor's attorney, Turk's trial was fast-tracked. He was found guilty despite no witnesses' testimonies and a severe lack of substantial evidence. However, shortly after his sentencing, the prosecutor of his case was indicted. The events of Abbott Cataclysm. A seismic activity struck the island. Video surveillance throughout the prison shows strange creatures appearing shortly after such surveillance of the block shows the deaths of all the death row inmates except for Turk, whose cell's doors seem to malfunction, allowing him to escape and arm himself, fighting his way through the prison and the rest of the island. Turk learns about Carnet Island's horrific past, as well as what happened to his family during his blackout. Ghosts from Abbott's past either help or hinder Turk, and human characters often need or offer resistance to escape the island. The ghost of Dr. Killjoy, Abbott's former prison doctor, takes a special interest in Turk and tries to cure him, Depending on the player's action through the game, the mystery of Turk's family's death will be revealed in one of the three endings. In the Suffering, after so much fighting and killing enemies, Turk can transform into a beast known as the Creature. To the player and Turk, it looks like a large beast with dog-like legs, a blade instead of an arm, and a large powerful claws for his remaining hand. In this form, Turk is very strong and can dispatch most enemies with ease. However, to all other characters, it is suggested that Turk appears no different, instead simply seeming to be enraged. Dr. Killjoy links Turk's blackout with the appearance of this creature and blames a combination of psychosis, schizophrenia, severe and chronic melancholia, and dissociative personality disorder. During the journey, Turks find that the monsters set loose personify the many forms of the execution in the islands has played host to. In addition, he is met by the spirits of some of the Khanat's most famous residents, the deranged psychologist, Dr. Killjoy, the former executioner, Hermes the Height, and the regretful murderer, Hermes. With their help, Turk discovers that he can transform into that raging monster, but Killjoy is obsessed with Kieran Turk, though his methods are questionable, and at various points delivers vague medical advice. Horus and Hermes, on the other hand, try to sway Turk towards good or evil. Respectively, Turk meets several other characters along the way, whose fate is variable. For example, he can team up with a corrections officer while traversing the island's forest. At the climax of the game, Turk is confronted by visions of his deceased family. Depending on the player's action, they will either forgive Turk because it was implied that it was not who he murdered them, or blame him for their troubles because it also implied not specifically that it was him, either in a whole or in some way participated in. After facing his inner demon and a monster born of his hatred, Turk is found by a rescue boat. There is three endings, depending on your actions throughout the game. First one, Turk will be rescued and get a retrial. The second one, knock out the driver and escape. The third one, become his inner demon, kill the driver, and run back into the island. Mysterious paramilitary organization known as the Foundation. The apparent leader of the Foundation is a woman named Jordan, who wants to study Turk and his connection to the malefactors, the creatures that appeared when he was sent to Khanat. Turk manages to escape from his captors. Later on, one of the three opening cutscenes play. Good ending. Turk is with the Coast Guard coming from Khanat. As they approach Baltimore Harbor, they encounter an army of mercenaries. The Coast Guard hands Turk over, but Turk faints, and two soldiers approach him, with one saying, "We need to get him inside ASAP. This guy's the Prime." Bad ending. Turk is in a semi-unconscious state on the shore of Khanat, with Killjoy berating him, telling him he thought he was cured, and warning if he thinks he has seen the worst of things he is mistaken. With that, mercenaries arrive and place Turk in a helicopter, with one of them saying, "We have secured the prime target." A neutral ending. Turk is driving the Coast Guard boat when he has a vision of Carmen, who tells him, "You went through so much, all because you could never control your anger." The boat is approached by a helicopter, which orders Turk to dock. He does so but faints, with the mercenary saying, "We need to get him inside ASAP. This guy is the Prime." When Turk awakens, he is strapped down in a warehouse, guarded by mercenaries, and introduced to Jordan, leader of an organization called the Foundation, who tells him the malefactors are her life's work. However, when the building's power cuts out, Jordan leaves and Turk is released. Hearing Foundation soldiers say the specimens have broken loose, Seeing a vision of Carmen telling him he must return to their apartment, he heads into the sewers where he has visions of Copperfield, in an infamous slave hunter, and a creeper, a pimp turned serial killer. Upon reaching his apartment, he finds a letter from Carmen asking for a divorce, a letter from Miles saying he is learning more about Blackmore, and a letter from Blackmore advising Turk to forget about Carmen. He has a vision of Carmen, who mentions Blackmore goes by the moniker of the Colonel, and sees Killjoy on the TV, who reminds him Blackmore hired people to kill his family. As Turk leaves his apartment, he sees the malefactors have broken loose into the streets of Baltimore. He encounters a drug addict named Kyle, who is convinced Turk is his father, and together they head back to the crack house, passing the gazebo where Turk and Carmen first met. Turk was a series of flashbacks to his early dates with Carmen, his initial employment by Blackmore, and the conflict between them over his loyalties. Heading to Miles' bar, he experiences a flashback to the incident for which he was arrested. A man threatened his children and called Carmen a whore, prompting an enraged Turk to kill him. Seconds before the police arrived, Miles then contacts Turk via radio, telling him they have to kill Blackmore. After being separated, Miles tells Turk to meet him at the harbor, where they will interrogate Jordan and find out where Blackmore is. Turk returns to the warehouse and encounters an imprisoned Consuela Alvarez, wife of Ernesto, one of his companions from Garnet Island. He releases her and helps her to get a boat, Garnet, where she plans to search for her husband and children. He is then ambushed by the Foundation soldiers. However, a truck driven by Jordan rescues him. She explains her men have betrayed her and are working directly for Blackmore, who has been funding for the Foundation for years. She is taking him to Eastern Correctional Blackmore's locations. In Eastern, Turk encounters a dying member of Blackmore's gang, who says the things you did in here, I mean you, sure made your mark, but why would you hire someone too? With that, the lights go out, and when they turn back on, the man is dead. Turk is contacted by Miles, who angrily tells him how long it's been, man. How long you've been making a mockery of everything. He then encounters Warden Elroy, son of the infamous Warden Raymond Elroy, who takes sadistic pleasure in torturing inmates through manual labor and solitary confinement. Elroy tells Turk the prison has descended into chaos since the appearance of the malefactors, and asks for help in restoring order. He is able to convince the guards and prisoners to work together, and with Turk's help, they are able to escape. Although Turk remains behind, he meets up with Miles, who angrily says, "It's been years, man. Years I've been trying to get the straight words on Blackmore, and what the fuck is up with you, man? First I hear this, I could not believe. I said no way, not my man, not Turk. That cracker bleeding out in the basement. He told me what's what, and he got no reason to lie. My brain ready to pop. It is too whack. Nobody make this up. Nobody would never say that you." However, Turk blacks out, and when he wakes, Miles is dead. Blackmore then contacts Turk, telling him to come to the drowning pool beneath the prison's factory. As Turk heads there, he is attacked by Foundation soldiers, backstabbed by a helicopter piloted by Jordan, who was lying about her men betraying her. Turk defeats the soldiers and kills Jordan. In the drowning pool, Killjoy Copperfield and the Creeper assess Turk's moral actions. Turk fights and defeats Copperfield. However, Blackmore leaves, compelling Turk to follow him. They return to where Turk grew up, Garvey Children's Home. Inside, Turk remembers meeting Blackmore for the first time. However, in his memory, Blackmore is an adult, Turk is a child, and none of the staff can see or hear Blackmore. Blackmore then confronts Turk, telling him that the ties that bind them together can never be cut. Turk realizes the truth. Blackmore is not real, but is actually Turk's alter ego, having first appeared as an imaginary friend when Turk was a child. When Turk blacks out, Blackmore's personality takes over. But now, Blackmore wants to be in control all the time. We've only got the one body, and I'm tired of sharing. He transforms into a monster, and he and Turk fight. With Turk defeating him, Blackmore disappears, and Turk is approached by Carmen, who tells him, "I never want us to be apart again." There is alternate endings. The bad ending. Numerous things are different throughout the game if the player is playing as an evil character. For example, the letter from Blackmore is to Carmen, not Turk, warning that Turk can't be trusted with the safety of their children. During the scene when Turk sees Killjoy on his TV, Killjoy reminds him that even though he killed his own family, Blackmore had convinced him that Carmen was planning on taking the children away. Later in the game, Jordan meets Turk prior to his arrival in the drowning pool and joins him on his way there. When the helicopter attacks, it is piloted by Blackmore, and Jordan helps Turk fight the Foundation soldiers in the drowning pool. Instead of fighting Copperfield, Turk fights and defeats the Creeper. In the final battle, Blackmore defeats Turk and absorbs Turk into him. If the player has kept Jordan alive throughout the game, she then approaches Blackmore, asking if Turk is gone. Blackmore says he is gone for good, and they kiss. Neutral ending. Numerous things are different also throughout the game. If the player is playing as a neutral character, for example, the letter from Blackmore is to Corey, not Turk and not Carmen, telling him Turk doesn't really love him. During the scene when Turk sees Killjoy on his TV, Killjoy reminds Turk that Blackmore had manipulated Corey. When the helicopter attacks, it is piloted by Jordan, and in the drowning pool, Turk fights Copperfield later. Blackmore reveals that he gave Corey spiked drugs prior to Corey's murder of Malcolm and subsequent suicide. In the final battle, neither Blackmore or Turk is able to win, and when they approach one another, they are repelled away from touching. Blackmore points out, "Looks like we're going to play this game a while longer. I couldn't change you, and you couldn't get rid of me. The ties that bind, they'll keep us connected, but apart, and I'll be right here, standing over your shoulder." That is the end of the suffering. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification button. I would really appreciate that because everything helps. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy. See you in the next video.